chairman spot first. We have a volunteer.
I recommend if allowed to throw my name in for chairman if.
Okay. We have one name in for chairman. Does anyone else wish to put their name in? Then let's have a vote. All those in favor of selecting Jorge as chairman of the Planning and Zoning Board, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Jorge, you are now the new chairman.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go ahead, we'll go ahead and do the vice chairman, and then I'll turn it over to Jorge. Vice chairman, Planning and Zoning Board.
I'd like to put myself in for it.
Okay, anyone else? No?
I'll make a motion that we nominate Mr. Garrett Carlisle to be our vice chair.
Second?
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Congratulations.
All right.
Jorge.
Good work, guys.
There you are, sir.
Nice.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Okay. Well, it's gonna kind of excuse me here because it'll be the, we're here at the number 4 hearing for the, what, did we approve, last month's meetings? Hear a
Minutes.
motion for that?
I'll make a motion to approve item 5.1, discuss the approval of the minutes from April 27, 2023.
Okay, I have, Gabriel Cabrera that, made a motion. Do I have a second? We have a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? No? Okay, motion carries. All right, we're gonna continue with, our agenda number 4. We have any, we're gonna hear anything from, we have any visitors? Have any remarks, not, for anything not pertaining for today's agenda? None today? Okay, we're closing the hearing, public hearing. Okay, how we did the minutes? Okay, we're gonna move on over to 6.1. Agenda 6.1, conduct a public hearing to receive comments regarding a zone change for a single-family residential 7.5 to neighborhood services in as property is located at the southeast corner of FM 148 West End Street, Lot 2, and part of 1A, Block 1, on .361 acres, City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, ZC 23-02. Okay,
Chairman, Commissioners, thank you. Congratulations, Mr. Chairman. Before you, we have a zone change 2302 for a rezone from single family to neighborhood services. Up on your screen, you'll see here, this is going to be the southeast corner of FM 148 going up and down, and then we have West End right there just to the north of that property in red. It is currently zoned for single family, and it is currently a vacant lot. If we jump over to page 13, you can see the surrounding zoning there. So you have light industrial to the north, and then as well to the west, and then everything around it is single family 7.5. You can see, I will point out, just south there facing 148 in the green, there is a little parcel that was rezoned neighborhood services as well. That lot does stand vacant, but there is a surrounding neighborhood services lot. If we jump over to page 19, we can see that the future land use map calls, page 14. That future land use map calls for that property to be local commercial. That's what that pink color is. So everything surrounding it is what it calls. If we jump over to page 19, that just shows the actual property, and you can see kind of a size for that property. And based off of the future land use map, staff does recommend approval of the requested zone change from single family to neighborhood services. And I will mention, Commissioners, that item 6.1 and 6.2 kind of go hand in hand. I wanted to point that out before y'all make a vote. There is someone that came forward and does have a specific use permit along with a rezone. So this is kind of a double header here. But I'll brief y'all a little bit on that item as well. They came forward wanting to do a convenience store, which by right is allowed in neighborhood services. They also proposed to have a gas pump there as well, which is allowed with a specific use permit. So that is item 6.2 that you see is going to be that specific use permit to allow the gas pumps. So that's kind of why they're going from neighborhood services, zoning, and then they're trying to apply for the SUP right after. So the vote on this one goes in tied with the second item as well. That's, can be a little confusing, so I'm happy to answer any questions to kind of clear things up.
So, just so I'm clear, so basically this would be a gas station? Is that what I'm understanding?
From my understanding with the conversations that I've had with the applicant, is they wanted to do a convenience store originally, which by right they can do in the neighborhood services. So that was their first point. They later came back and said, what if we add some pumps to it? And then that conversation was, well, it's allowed in neighborhood services, but you would also have to apply for an SUP. So it was their request that they do, they wanted to do the zone change as well as the SUP together, but I let them know that it was going to be two separate items. So if the zoning changes, they have the right for a convenience store. If the SUP is approved on item 6.2, they have the right for the gas station to be there for the 3 additional pumps with it. Now, the changing on the zoning doesn't really mean that they will build the convenience store. That's not a tying matter. That is just that anything that is in the zoning ordinance under neighborhood services, that is what is going to be able to be built there.
Aren't there houses right near here somewhere, if I'm not mistaken?
There are so currently it's on single family 7.5, so there are houses surrounding that up and down. If you'll jump back to page 14 for me. Is that 14? I lied. I'm sorry, 13, one more. That one. So you can see that all of everything east of 148 is 7.5, and there are a couple of houses surrounding that facing west and facing the other street down south.
That's a church right there, I think.
Church right there, yeah.
Yes, sir, it is a church.
In that area.
Yep, right behind it. I drove that area and I drive it often. Has anyone like conducted a traffic study? I mean, that is just, it's terrible there.
So there is construction right there at that intersection that has started and will be going on for
No, this was
a
before the
while.
construction. I'm saying 148, just going
Past that.
toward north, toward 205.
Yes.
I mean, right there at West End. My aunt lives on West End. She can't get on 148 as she leave her house because of the traffic on 148, and it's been like that for years. And several wrecks. She almost lost her life there. And I'm just wondering, adding a convenience station, gas pumps, along with all that other chaos that's going on. I mean, I know what staff recommend, but I don't know if those people are homeowners or renters, and that's why they haven't responded. I'm not really sure, but I know there's several houses and they're in the process of building more. And
There's a new house that was
know,
just
I
built
saw
right there on West End, almost to 148, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, on West End.
I'm not sure, but
There's a new house being built there. I don't know. I mean, I just think there's so much stuff we get, and then it's not regulated. You know, they trash up the neighborhood like we have the dollar store, and you see bags all over the place. And then they're going to have a convenience store right there in the midst of a neighborhood that's trying to grow and improve. And then you're going to just put a convenience store where people order. I mean, a lot of stuff goes on in those areas. And I don't know, I have my concerns, but like I said, I'm not going to go against staff recommendations, but that's my feeling about it. It's congested on 148 right at that railroad track. Everybody knows that. You stay there for minutes, and it's a community that's growing over there, and they're building nice homes and a convenience station right there in the middle of it. I have some concerns about that.
What are the, what is the time frame on the expansion of that work right there? What are we looking at? Of expanding that road? Do you know, time frame, is it? Yes, sir.
10, 15.
The reason is 'cause we got West End right there, and I know traffic backs up right there on West End to try to get onto 148. Year and a half out, okay.
But it was before it was that backup traffic, as I was saying earlier.
No, no,
That was
I
occurring
understand
before
that.
the
Correct, but I'm just,
road construction.
my concern would be, 148, we got traffic, trying to, from West End, trying to get onto 148, either north or south. And with the convenience store, you got more people coming in through there. More traffic is, right now it's not that bad, or it is kind of bad anyway right now, but,
It's,
you know.
it's bad.
It's going to give you more people on foot traffic as well, which isn't safe in that area with the amount of cars that go through that intersection.
now and I think with being convenience store, I could probably see, but the gas station, maybe once traffic's alleviated in that area, it may be something, but that's just my opinion in regards to that. Okay.
I do want to say something now. Keep in mind that in this area, the only gas station is Walmart, right? They closed the one in 80, that's the way out towards Dallas or Forney, which everybody would stop before going into the city of Dallas or that area. Further to the east, we have the Valero that's closed down, that's been closed down for several months. I don't know if you guys are aware, have seen it, it's boarded up, right? So we lost 2 gas stations that would address this particular area. Now we just, we're giving all our money, the community, to Walmart. Walmart is a multi-corporation, you know what I mean by that. Maybe it's time to help other small businesses. That gas station I don't think it would be a corporate, Exxon, Shells, or any of that. But I do get your point about the traffic. I do agree with my colleague here that it's pretty bad, because just if you're coming from Buc-ee's all the way down, you'll be stuck there for 10 to 15 minutes. So we at that gas station there. I'm not opposed to it, but those are the given circumstances today. That's what we lost, 2 gas stations that would service this whole particular, the Lawrence side of the west side of Terrell, and almost going to downtown, we lost that gas station too. I don't know if it's gonna come back live again, but that's something food for thought,
My concern would be that if I'm buying this house right here, and we all know that in the city of Terrell, you can't really buy a house under $200,000. So if I buy this house right here, that is literally three lots down from a convenience store, that's not gonna look like Buc-ee's, chances are.
No.
Let's just put it out there. It's not gonna look like Buc-ee's.
It's gonna be-
So it's gonna be havoc for this guy that just bought that house right there.
Sure,
I wouldn't want it there,
I wouldn't either. No
regardless if
sidewalk.
I gotta go across the track or not to get gas. I wouldn't want that on the corner where I just spent $200,000+. I wouldn't want to look at it, coming home or leaving. Just wouldn't.
Chairman, if I may, just for a point of
Yes,
order,
ma'am.
it is a public hearing, so if you would like to open and see if anybody would like to talk about it, we can close that, and then we can move on to the ordinance, and you can also hold discussion at that point as well.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Okay, I'd like to open is there anybody out that want to discuss in regards to this, project about the, gas station? No? Anybody opposed to it? Want to speak? No? Okay, close the hearing. All right, see here. Any other discussion in regards to it?
Yes, so if we, let's say we make a vote today to approve item 6.1, right, which is a single-family transitioning over to neighborhood service, NS. Is the applicant, obviously the applicant's not here, but did he make any comments, any concerns that if the gas part doesn't get approved, is that gonna back down his plans, his project? Is that gonna go down the drain, or did he mention anything like that we could possibly contemplate about?
Absolutely. So Chairman, just for sake of following Robert's Rules of Order, if we move on to item 6.2 for the ordinance, I can touch on a little bit about, to answer Mr. Cabrera's questions.
Yes, ma'am, okay. We're gonna move on to 6.2, discussion and consideration ordinance number 2985, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, amending Appendix 2 zoning ordinance of the City of Terrell by changing the zoning classification on certain real property more particularly described as Lot 1 and 2, Block 1, Dewberry, 4th Edition, City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, as shown on the plat attached here as Exhibit A and made a part hereof of all purposes from Single Family 6, SF6, to Neighborhood Services, providing for the repeal of conflicting ordinance, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. Ordinance 2985, Exhibit 8 survey. Okay?
Commissioners, Ms. Katie, if you'll jump over to page 31 for me. The applicant did turn in, it is attached to the ordinance that is for the actual specific use permit, but I will show you this since this came up in a question to answer Mr. Cabrera's question. This is a rendering that the applicant turned in along with it. So it's not detailed, it's not, planned out anything. It was just something that would be attached to that SUP that would be tying them to do this to give you a little bit of a focal point here, a vision. If you jump over to page 32 in your packet, they did a little site plan for us. You can see 148 there at the bottom of your screen. And then, I'm sorry, to the left of your screen, and then west and to the north, you can see the square footage of their store proposing would be approximately 1,800 square foot. Again, this isn't tying anything, this isn't any official plans, this is just something that would be an exhibit to the ordinance. And then there, they propose 4 gas pumps, about 2,000 square feet, a couple of parking spaces, an exit over on FM 148, as well as West End Street. So that is what they did turn in after I discussed with them and kind of came up and let them know the P&Z would love to see, something visual that you're coming up with. But again, this isn't tying them to any building plans, anything like that. This is just something that gives you guys a visual of what they are proposing.
What else is allowed under neighborhood services besides a convenience store?
So the neighborhood services zoning is really going to be something that you think local, walking to, for example, convenience stores, any kind of nail shops, anything that would go in a small store, something like that. I do have some here, so I'll read you off something as far as office uses, any kind of office use, any kind of personal use as far as a barber shop, a photography studio, let's see, any kind of personal services, so shoe repair, tailor, a print shop, any kind of bakery, small shop, name a few more. All kinds of retail uses are going to be allowed. Really no automotive uses without an SUP. In the neighborhood services for any kind of auto use, you would need a specific use permit in that area, hence the gas station as well. Any kind of governmental use, any kind of commercial and wholesale uses are not going to be allowed in neighborhood services. And a couple of amusement recreational uses could be allowed with a specific use permit. So really just the smaller shop type uses.
Any other questions?
Not,
I'm not, no. I heard what you were saying about that. I'm sure those people that live on that side probably use Buc-ee's and that service station that's close to the, I can't think of that.
By the DPS office?
Across the street from that barbecue place. And then they have another one on South Rockwall. So there are other places, and they can go to Brookshire's and other places. Yeah. I just would not, if I lived there, you guys, I already know it's gonna be an issue. You're gonna have plastic trash. It's not gonna be maintained. It's greasy, nasty. I mean, they'll keep it up for a while, and then they'll do a bait and switch, and it'll start looking like South Dallas. And I just don't want Terrell looking like South Dallas. And I definitely don't want South Terrell looking like South Dallas with all of that grungy stuff in our neighborhood. No, and I'm no. I know we haven't voted yet, but I just don't want trash to keep coming, trash in my neighborhoods.
Now look at these lots. They've been vacant since I've lived here. And, you look and say, well, why didn't somebody build a house? You're on 148.
Because of that noisy train.
Noisy, and then you've got a train track.
Mm-hmm.
So they're probably gonna stay vacant for a long
Well, they have built a couple of houses there, so I don't know.
But that corner lot is probably the least desirable one in the bunch.
And Mr. Hood, if I may, to your point, again, with this specific item, this is just a rezoning from single-family to neighborhood services.
Oh, I know.
If you do decide to rezone, that doesn't tie you to anything. It would just allow whoever the owner is, or whoever the future owner is, to come forward for a use in neighborhood services. So the gas station would be with the SUP tied, just for a point of clarity.
Yeah, I mean, I know.
Just keep in mind,
I know it's
we're
for
actually-
rezoning. That's why I said, I think it should stay just like it is, single-family neighborhood. Keep it that way.
Just keep in mind where we got the 6.1 agenda, which is basically just converting it from, rezoning it, correct?
Single-family to neighborhood services, yes, sir.
We'll be having two votes today, which will be to neighborhood, and then the second one would be if.
Would be
we
the
approve
specific use permit that we'll touch on in a minute, yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
now-
And also, just for a point of clarity, if this zoning doesn't go through, we would skip over 6.2 because by omission, it would not be able to move forward as well.
Okay. Now, on the 6.1, just in my opinion, before we go for a vote, like I said, Joe hit Commissioner Joe hit it right on the head. It's not a typical area for a house or a home right there, to be honest with you. Whether we rezone it back to a neighborhood, I think it'd be probably a good idea. The SUP would probably be something different we could probably vote on, but, you know, that'll give us something to start building that area. Because you gotta keep in mind, that train, it's a very difficult spot, so that's just in my opinion. So, any other questions, in regards to, we'll stick to the 6.1 item first. Any questions in regards to that, to the rezoning?
Let me make sure I'm clear, all right? So in voting for this right now, we'd essentially be voting to change it over, not necessarily to vote for this specific gas station situation that we're looking at, right? So let's say, for example, a coffee shop wanted to come in, right? So that, a building could be put there that could inhabit different things outside of this
That is
gas
correct.
station.
Yes, sir.
That's
And
really what the vote would.
that is really what the vote is here. The applicant did come forward, and what your vote would be if you do decide to change it from single-family to neighborhood services, you are allowing any use under neighborhood services to be put there. To your example, a coffee shop, they would be able to go under that neighborhood services zoning as well. If you leave it at single-family, if you decide to vote this item down, then only a single-family residential home could be built there to 7.5 standards.
Understood.
That is really your vote that you're making here.
Understood.
Okay, any other questions in regards to the 6.1 item? No? Okay, do I hear a motion now keep in mind, the motion right now is the 6.1 item, which is zoning, rechanging the zoning.
We're on 6.1 or 6.2?
6.1.
6.2, your motion would be either to approve or deny the ordinance number.
Okay, 6.1 do I have a motion?
Wait, hold on.
We're on item 6.2.
So,
6.1 was a
6.2, I'm
public
sorry.
hearing.
Yes, 6.2.
okay, 6.2 is the approval for the change in zoning.
That is correct, sir. The 6.1 item is just the public hearing for staff to brief you to discuss. 6.2 is the actual ordinance that takes into effect making that motion for whatever the item before it was.
Okay, change it to neighborhood services.
Correct, yes, sir.
Got it. All right, make sure I understand.
All right, do I hear a motion?
I would move that we approve the 6.2 for the rezoning.
I hear a motion to approve. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. We have a second on the approval. Any nays?
Nay.
Nay.
Nay. Okay, all in favor, say aye. Yes?
Hey,
Aye.
Okay, and I'm sorry, what was that on the nays?
Nay.
Nay.
We have two on nays. Was that 3, 2 and 2, is that correct? On the nays?
Chairman, could I have you take a vote by hand, just so we can make sure
Okay,
that
okay.
we're right on the votes?
Okay, we're gonna vote by hand. Can we start over here at the far end, please?
Or is that what you're?
Yes. 4, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. We have 4 for it,
For
4 votes for, and nays? 2, okay. Motion carries. Approved. Okay, now we're gonna have, I guess it's for 6-3 on the SUP. Okay, and this is the special approval, which was the SBT conduct a public hearing and receive comments regarding to request for a special use permit to allow the use of a convenience store with gas pump storefront. The property is located at the southwest corner of FM 148, West End Street, Lot 2, and Part of 1A, Block 1 on .361 acres, City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, SUP 23-05. Okay, we had a lot of discussion on this one too. Any other comments on this one? And this is for the special permit for the gas station, correct?
Yes, sir. So before you, we have a specific use permit on a pending zoning of neighborhood services. If you look in your packet on page 25, this is just the same lot that we just talked about. This applicant did come in and want to rezone the property to neighborhood services. And in your staff report on page 23, I put the definition of a convenience store. When he came forward, he said, I want to put a convenience store there. The gas pumps came later, and I advised him that if he wanted the gas pumps there, it would require a specific use permit. So then in your packet, your convenience store by definition is retail establishment selling food or consumption of a limited selection of groceries and sun-drieds and possibly gasoline if pumps are provided. Does not include or offer automobile repair services. On page 188 of your packet, you'll see there the zoning chart for your residential zoning districts. Your convenience store with gasoline sales does require, and, I'm sorry?
27.
I'm sorry, page 27, thank you. Does require a specific use permit for a convenience store with gasoline sales. And if you do a convenience store without gasoline sales, it is permitted by right in your neighborhood services. That is the third row from the bottom, third and fourth row from the bottom. So by right, pending council approval of the rezone, it will have the right to do a convenience store there as well as any other uses. But the specific use permit is specifically for wanting to add the pumps there with the convenience store, pending the rendering and the site plan that the applicant provided. And again, these aren't full building plans, they aren't anything, it's just a rendering kind of showing you a layout of what they are proposing. And I'm happy to answer any further questions.
Anyone have any question in regards to this? Is for the special use permit for the gas station, basically.
Right. My question earlier was if it turns out that he's building a convenience store, is he not moving forward if we don't approve the gasoline aspect of things? Did he make any indication, any comments that he provided? Or he's like, well, if you guys allow me gas, I'm okay with it. Or a convenience store, great. Gas, even better. So that's what I'm trying to figure out, if he said anything or anything.
Gotcha. For my conversations with him, I didn't get a yes or no, I don't want to move forward or anything. Just for me starting off, when he first came forward about the property, he wanted to put a convenience store there. Never mentioned anything about gas pumps. Later into the conversation, after we discussed what the zoning was, what the area looked like, et cetera, then he came up, what if I were to add gas pumps? I said, well, if you were to do that, you would need an SUP. And then he said, oh, okay, sounds good. Can we do those hand in hand? It would be depending on the zone change. So to answer your question, originally he had come up with just the convenience store, but I don't know if that's going to be a deal breaker for him or not.
Anybody else? Anybody else? Any? Okay, well, that's, do I hear a motion?
Sir, it is a public hearing, so if you would open and close that one, and then we can move on to the next one for a motion.
Gotcha, thank you. Do I need to open the public hearing, correct? Is there anyone here to discuss for, in favor of the SUP? Anyone here to discuss and not in favor of the SUP? Okay, I close the hearing, the open public hearing. All right. Now we're gonna move on to 6-4. Discussion, consider an ordinance, number 2984, an ordinance of the City of Terrell, of the City Council of the City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, granting a special use permit under the provision of 31B, Appendix 2, zoning ordinance of the City of Terrell, to Val Gutierrez, allowing an exception to the provision of Section 25, Appendix 2, zoning ordinance of the City of Terrell for certain property located at the corner of West 10th Street and Farm Road 148. The same also being known as Lot 1 and 2, Block 1, Drewberry, 4th Edition, City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, by permitting a convenience store with gas pumps on said property, currently zoned as neighborhood services, providing for repeal and conflicting ordinance, providing for servability, and providing an effective date. Ordinance 2984.
I'm happy to answer any questions if y'all have any before y'all would like to vote.
I'm just wondering where this person is. If they wanted something, why didn't they come so I could tell them how I felt about it? I mean, I'm just wondering, if it's that important to them, you would think they would be here to
I did make the applicant aware of the dates of the public hearings. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so,
Now, I'll say this for the public record, this is public information as well. This individual is a well-known developer in the Kaufman County area. He's also built multiple convenience stores with gas stations throughout the county, including Forney and things of that nature. I know that you mentioned these are preliminary plans and it's not the official plans, but he's used to submitting such, and I would say poorly, for the record, poorly plans. And it would be a hard time for for the municipal development here and for the fire department when it comes to plan review, to making sure that this is in fire and life safety is being presented based on these construction. So because of that, and like my colleague said, he's not here, I would say that for the public record, so I wouldn't be, I just don't like the work that he's producing for the community. It seems like he's just in it for the profit, for the record.
Okay, we have any other comments, questions? Nope, okay. Do I hear a motion?
well, my motion will be to deny that special use permit.
Okay, we have a motion to deny. Do I have
Second.
a second? We have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those in favor say nay. Okay. Once again, let's, let me get the hand count again. Those in favor?
In favor of denying.
In favor of
denying.
denying.
In favor
Yes, sir,
of
that was the
denying.
motion,
Favor
to
deny.
deny the
Three.
specific use permit.
Okay, it's all clear, okay? SUP is denied. Okay, we're gonna go on to, next item of agenda. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so since we denied the special use permit, now will it revert back to single family? If-
No, ma'am, they're two separate items. So
Okay,
one
that's
of them is a
exactly what I'm
zone
talking about.
change.
Someone else will get, I know, I just wanted to make sure that I confirmed it in my head. I kind of knew
Yes, ma'am.
that answer. It's just, you guys, I just want all of you to just take your time and drive around South Terrell where you see these convenience stores and see how they are being maintained. Take a look at it and ask yourself, would you want it in your neighborhood?
Right.
Look at it. It's a mess. And they start out with one thing and they end up being something else. That's what bothers me. That's why I don't want it changed to neighborhood services, because they put that mess over there and we're stuck with it for a lifetime. I know, I've lived over there for 62 years and I don't like it, and I still don't like what I'm seeing and hearing. So I just want you to know, that's for my record. I don't like it because it will not be maintained. It'll be another menace to society in South Terrell. You see, I'm seeing more homeless people hanging out, doing things up in our neighborhood that I have never seen. And I know it's not gonna be regulated, and it's gonna be a mess with paper bags and trash all over the place. That's what we're getting in South Terrell.
Well, I guess my thing is that, to understand where that is, if we monitor it properly, it doesn't have to become a convenience store.
They're not gonna monitor it.
And that's the reason that's the reason I asked the question about, can it be a coffee shop or something that would be beneficial for the area? But if we're voting on it, I guess that's the thing I'm looking at. If we're voting on it and we're monitoring what's coming through, then we recognize what we don't want there. Then we don't have to allow it, just the same way you're not allowing this one to
Oh,
come
I
through.
got that, yeah.
And
I know.
so, but the chances of houses coming there, I don't know that I would want to live there either.
No, I
Right
wouldn't.
there, on that corner. And so what do? We can't just leave it forever. And so that's the reason that I think the vote of allowing something to go there and just with the city's help, hopefully making sure it's the right something that's there that is beneficial for the neighborhood is basically what
You know, collect some
hoping.
taxes, you know.
something, yeah, I mean, with the right look, of course, is what I'm hoping for.
I would hope so. I really would hope so, but I'm telling you, the city has left a bad taste in my mouth.
Understood. I can respect that.
Any other? Okay, we're going to continue to next agenda, 6.5. We're going to conduct a public hearing to receive comments regarding a zone change for retail to single-family residential 7.5. Property is located on 205 West Bryn Street in City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, ZC 23-03.
Commissioners, Chairman, thank you. This one's a little more straightforward. This is a little bit more fun. So currently, if we go look at page 40, this is a piece of property in question here. We have the corner of Bryn and Francis. It is a single-family home. Just to the south of it is the Good Shepherd Episcopal Church there. They own that whole block over here to the facing Francis. The applicant came forward wanting to rezone the property. So if we go to page 41, we can see how the property is currently zoned. That yellow is going to be zoned for a single-family 7.5, and all of that red you see there is going to be retail. So the property in question here is currently zoned for retail, and it is currently the residence of the father of the church. So the church came forward and wanted to do a replat with this property. However, they're not able to do so because of the retail zoning there. They do own the two houses there that face Bryn, and then the church is around that as well. So in order to do a replat, which they have put their application in, it's coming to you next month, we needed to get the cleanup on the zoning done in order for them to do that replat. There are different requirements for a single-family zoning than there are for a retail zoning, and so that is why we went forward. If we go to page 46, you can see the outline there exactly. It kind of lays half and half with their property line on one of the houses and one of the other houses. So the zone change before you is going to be the rezoning from retail to single-family 7.5. The future land use map in this area for this property does call this to be a traditional neighborhood, so it does fall in line for the single-family 7.5, and staff does recommend approval of the requested zone change. And Chairman, if I may, I will point out that I've worked with Jennifer and the church they're here representing. We've been working on this for a little bit, so they're here to represent the item as well. And I'm happy to answer any questions that y'all have.
And it's currently a house now, correct?
Yes, sir. There is currently a house, and to my knowledge, it is the house that the priest lives in of the church.
So there's currently a house there.
Yes.
But it's,
And it's been a rental house in the past. Is that accurate?
I do not know.
And it's currently zoned retail, so they just want to convert it back over to single family.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Any questions to staff? No? We're going to open the public hearing. Is there anyone here want to talk in regards to converting this over? Please step forward, state your name.
Good evening. My name is Hal Richards. I live at 4 Cartwright Street, and I'm here speaking in support of this zoning change. I will thank you for your service, Mr. Chairman, and congratulations, and thank all of you for serving on this board. I will tell you that Father Hyde and his wife Erin live in that house with our, I think probably the newest resident of the city of Terrell, which is young baby girl Frankie, 6 weeks old, I believe. I think this is a pretty common sense thing. Father Hyde and his family live in that house, and it is always, as long as I've been here since 1981, it's always been a residence, and I think this is just sort of a peculiarity of who knows how this came about. But I would ask for you to approve the zoning change. Thank you.
Hello, sir. State your name.
Good evening. My name is Ian Hyde, and I'm the priest at Good Shepherd Episcopal Church. And we own this property. And really, we were just attempting to clean up what seems to be some pretty counterintuitive line drawing on our property. But in order to do that, as Amira said, we need to rezone the lot and the rent house on 205 so that we can kind of clean up and I guess make the lines not so jagged right now. We'd also like to squeeze the property in the lot next door down a little bit. And so we're hoping just to get the zoning changed so that it corresponds to the rest of the zoning on all the properties that we own in that area. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else in favor? Okay. Anyone opposed to this change? Oh, okay. Close the public hearing then. Our next item on agenda 6.6 is to discuss and consider the ordinance number 2986, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, amending Appendix 2 zoning ordinance of the City of Terrell by changing the zoning classification on certain real property, more particularly described as lots 2B and 3B, Block 49, original City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, and also known as 207 West Bryn. Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, from retail to single family, 7.5, as shown on the plats attached here as Exhibit A and B, and made a part hereas of all purposes, providing for severability and providing an effective date. So technically, we're just voting here to convert it over.
For the ordinance, yes,
For the
sir.
ordinance, okay. All right. Any questions for staff? No? Okay. Do I hear a motion?
I move a motion that we approve item 6.6.
Can I have a motion to approve? Second. I have a second to approve. All those in favor say yay.
Yay.
Any nays? This motion is approved. Okay, we're going to move over to item 6.7. Conduct a public hearing to receive comments regarding the following proposed amendments to the to the Terrell City Code of Ordinance as follows. Appendix 2 dash, was that 9? I'm sorry. 4.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Use regulations, section 32.2, use charge, appendix 2-5, development standards, section 42, special regulation for certain types of usage, appendix 2.5, development standards, section 44, definitions. Okay, any questions? Can you explain this to us first, please?
Hi, Chairman and Commissioners. My name is Raylan Smith. I know quite a few of you, but I have not yet presented to P&Z, so I want to thank you for letting me bring this ordinance to you. In case you didn't know, food trucks are a pretty hot item right now, and Municipal Development gets several inquiries regarding food trucks and have for quite some time. So we did a little research and put together this draft ordinance so that we can accommodate the food trucks and the interests that people have in bringing those to the city. Currently, food trucks are allowed only during special events, and it's part of the special event permit. This would essentially allow food trucks within your non-residential areas. I just wanted to highlight a few of some of the highlights of the ordinance would be that this does not change any of the special event list, or that you would still need that special event permit to have something within the neighborhood. This mobile food unit is also written so that it always has to be located on private property, and it has to be on top of an improved surface, such as asphalt or concrete. So we also have items in there to make sure that it should never become permanent. We do have the hours of 7 to 10, and we do say that the mobile food units have to leave that site every day. These units will be permitted through our fire and health inspections. So we'll handle that through both the fire marshal and our health food inspector. Health permits themselves will only be good for 12 months, so this will be a renewable license. It's also going to help your larger events like your jubilees and things, because now on their applications, they can make sure that those vendors have a City of Terrell health permit beforehand. And so we'll have some inspection days set aside where our health inspector and also our fire marshal once a month will do these inspections for any additional permits that we have coming in. We also address the permanent restrooms that must be available anytime a food truck is set up somewhere so that we can accommodate the pedestrians there. There must be a minimum of 2 dedicated parking spaces for anywhere that a mobile food unit is, and those parking spaces cannot be deducted from the occupancy use of the building. So if you have someone on your property, you have to make sure that you can still accommodate the parking for the existing businesses there. So we kind of work that into the calculation. A little bit about the signage, just making sure nothing too crazy gets out there, and that also they have to follow all the other noise ordinances, et cetera, for the city. So we think we tried to keep it broad enough that, they definitely have a little bit of leeway as long as there is a property owner that's willing to allow them onto their property, but definitely wanted to make sure that they didn't go and set up shop in any neighborhoods or became a nuisance to the area. So if you have any questions, I'd love to talk through those, or if you have any additional recommendations or comments, that would be great.
Any questions?
I did have a question about item L. A mobile food unit may operate on City of Terrell-owned property at any time with written approval of the city manager or his designee. This request does not require the appropriate food permit and inspection payment. Can you elaborate where that came from? Because typically, something like this, I do it every day, right? I enforce the mobile health unit, and they are a high item, actually. And especially for Taco Festival and the way they lined up, and it's so many of them, yeah, we have to pay attention to the fire and health, because in the East Coast and in the West Coast, these things blow up. If there's no proper propane inspection and the lines are leaking, this is a hazard, and it affects everybody in around. It's a flying missile out here. And there's evidence and photo of that such condition, right? So that's why I like the part that it has a fire inspection in there. It's common base, part of the fire code, it's required. So I'm pretty sure that any of that in the city would be in accordance with that. The part where did that came from, the city manager? Because that's, I know it's City of Terrell property, so how did that came about?
What that's essentially saying is that no one can go onto City of Terrell-owned property without the approval of the city manager, so that we don't have food trucks that go and park in our public parks. That if we have a mobile food unit that is here, they are here because of a special event. They are on a City of Terrell property because the city manager said they could be, or it's going to be limited to privately owned property, just so they don't go and set up shop and it not have been recognized by the property owner. And so simply we put the city manager there essentially as the property owner for all of our city maintained properties, so that it just specifically says you can't just go find a vacant lot specifically if it belongs to the City of Terrell. You still have to get that permission.
That makes sense. And also, I just food for thought. The $50 fee, that's pretty reasonable. It's actually better than what other places would charge. The county charges $150 for this. So the price is good. I mean, it's feasible and it supports small businesses and
We're
love
really
it.
hoping that it invites people to participate in this process and, you know, that it's not so hampering, you know, for them to get a permit, that they try to avoid it.
Right, because the FARCO will require, well, for the most part, third-party inspection. So that's the cost there. The burden of the cost falls back on of that particular mobile unit.
Right.
You know? So I like the price, that it's really reasonable.
Good,
I get a question. You said the permit was good for 12 months?
yes.
Okay, so once, I just want to get this straight, so if
12 months from the date that it's issued.
is issued, so they can go out there every month as long as they got the permit? There's no time limit
Right.
within that 12 months?
Within the 12 months, correct.
Okay.
Just that as long as the trailer literally leaves, as long as it leaves the location within a 24-hour period, then we're good.
Okay. Any other questions, commissioners? Okay. Is there, since the public hearing, I guess we're gonna, is there anyone, wants to come forward in regards to, in favor of this, ordinance? Anyone, not in favor of it, want to come and speak? No, okay. Close the public hearing then. All right, we're gonna move on to, 6.8. Discussion and consider ordinance number 2987, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, amending Appendix 2 zoning ordinance of the City of Terrell, Article 4, use regulation, Section 32, use charged by the addition of mobile food unit. As an approved type of land usage, amending Article 5, Development Standards, Section 42, special regulations for certain types of usages by the additions of the Section 42.9, mobile food units, and Section 44 definitions as set forth in Exhibit A, attached hereto and made a part hereof for all purposes, providing for severability, providing a saving clause, and providing an effective date. Okay. All right, any questions, Commissioner, with regard to this?
I had one last question I forgot to ask earlier, where item number H on here that says, the mobile food unit shall have permanent restrooms available within 300 feet of the facility. The portable restroom facilities are not permitted to meet this requirement. So that one's gonna be a tough one, because they're still gonna have to negotiate with that private owner of that private property. A lot of these places, public places, they're like, if you don't buy it here, we don't want you using our facilities, our amenities. So that's actually, it sounds reasonable, but it's also like you're limited. You just control one food truck. You don't have restrooms even for you. So that one is a tough situation. Let's say, I would encourage that to be remodified or something around those lines, because it's gonna be really difficult for this to actually become feasible for the actual mobile food owners, if you know what I mean, because anywhere you go, they don't want you using their facilities unless you buy something. So that's just something to consider, because it's kind of like, it will be, if that's a condition that they have to abide, well, in reality, who's really gonna get that? Maybe 1 or 2 out of the 10 that are available in and around our area. Just food for thought.
So one of the pushes for that was just to make sure that anytime a food truck is on a private property, that all of these details be worked out between the food truck vendor and the property that they're on, so that they understand you are going to have multiple people on your property. There may be additional needs of those people. And the reason that we stated it as permanent restrooms was so that you could not, bring in a temporary system anywhere around you. And so it does it does put the burden on the facility and the property owner to have that food truck there on location.
In other words, it will be very selective in terms of, in the end of the day, once this all gets approved, and if it does get approved, then it would really be tough for the other competition to find a spot that meets this, especially with the parking part too. Because typically, keep in mind that it's a truck pulling this food truck.
Right.
And sometimes the parking is not the best. And then you have to dedicate two parking. Some of these people would just idle, waiting for their food, you know? And just another area for food for thought. So that would be H and I. Now, maybe we could work something out, but I mean, I'm not a food truck owner, so I have no business in there. But I'm just throwing it out there because that's the things I face every day when I'm working with them.
I think the city has the best intentions in regards to what they're doing. It makes sense, and I understand the public. I mean, especially if, I mean, there's not much of an area you can go here in Terrell, you know, especially if you, because of the space. It does give, I do think that the city is working with the food trucks out there, giving them at least some kind of an opportunity instead of just keeping them out, keeping the door shut. I know there's not a lot of places here. I kind of agree that, you know, there might be little changes, but at least we're opening it up for the food trucks to try to work something out with some of the locations that they might be able to find. So, but that's what I think. Any other questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Do I hear a motion?
I would offer a motion to approve 6.8.
Okay, I have a motion to approve 6.8. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Hey,
Any nay? This motion carries. Okay, I think that's it for the item. We just have some action items. 7.1, discuss and consider a final plat for the Princeton Circle Edition, lots 26R and 27R, Block D, being a replat of lot 26 and 27, Block D, being .6951 acres out of the LHA Adams Survey Abstract Number 7, City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, also known as 108 and 106 Princeton Circle. Sorry. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, we're gonna be going through some construction plats here. Hopefully, we can move through these. These are pretty forward, easily solved. So what we have on the first applicant here, submitted a final plat on Princeton Circle. It's lot 24R, 27R. If you look at the map, there's the placement of location of this. I want to keep in mind real quick that the owner owns both of these parcels. So it's not two different owners in this. And basically, in a nutshell, they are actually just moving the property boundary and replatting the property. He wanted to move so he could add some room so they could build a house for his family. So if you go to page 123, you'll see kind of the difference of what that, 123? Yeah, just keep, there you go, the crosshatch. You can see the difference between the before and the after of what he's wanting to do. So that is, in summary, what we're trying to do, and the staff recommends approval for this. I'll take any questions.
Any question for staff? Okay, do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the final plat for the Princeton Circle Edition, lots 26R and 27R, Block D, being replat of blocks 26 and 27, Block D being 0.6951 acres out of the LH Adams Survey, Abstract Number 7, City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, also known as 108 and 106 Princeton Circle.
Okay, I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
A second.
We have a second. All those in favor say yay.
yay.
Any nays? Motion approved. Okay, action item number 7.2. Discuss and consider final plat for a New Hope Missionary Baptist Edition, Second Edition, Lot 1, Block 1, being a replat of the south half portion, Lot 2, Block 90, Western Edition being .358 acres out of the Berry Road Survey. Abstract number 3691, City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, also known as 612 South Rockwall Avenue.
Commissioner, I bring for you a final plat that New Hope Baptist Church is bringing. And basically, in summary of this is, they are taking on land that the city has abandoned and provided them. So this plat is replatting to encapsulate that part that is abandoned to this individual, new church, New Hope Baptist Church here. So, they're just basically moving the property boundary over the abandoned land. I'll take any
Was
more
there an alley
questions.
there or something?
On the side,
Oh, okay.
no. Yes, that there is,
It's the parsonage.
yes.
Any questions? Do I hear a motion?
Move that we approve the final plat for New Hope Missionary Baptist Edition, second section, Lot 1, Block 1, being a replat of the south half portion, Lot 2, Block 90, Western Edition, being 0.358 acres out of the Barry Road Survey, abstract number 3691, City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, also known as 612 South Rockwall Avenue.
Okay, I have a do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, we have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Hey.
Any nays? Motion carries. Okay, action item 7.3. Discuss and consider a final plat for the MetroCrest Additions Lot 1A, Block B, being a replat of part of Lot 1, Block B, being 15.731 acres out of the John C. Hill Survey, abstract number 202, City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, also known as 300 Apache Trail. Sir.
Commissioners, again, this applicant is presenting a final plat for the addition to this property. You'll see it's off in the industrial park. 300 Apache is what it's referred to. And this plat, final plat, if you'll look at the next page, there you go. Basically, is platting the fire lanes, and this road is already being in the process of being extended all the way around. Jameson Court is already, we've got the road pretty much built. So they're taking on, there used to be a turnabout at the end, and this replatting is giving that land back to that owner, and then encapsulating this fire lanes here of this. So they'll be adding on to that property. That's what this position. Matt Lucas of Kimberly Horn has provided the engineering for this, and he's here today. But he is representing this for the owner in this replatting, the final plat of this land. And they'll be putting adding on to that warehouse building.
Any questions for staff?
Yeah, so when the city abandons it and somebody wants it, is there some monetary involved or anything like that involved with that process?
No.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, do I hear a motion?
Move the motion, we approve final plat MetroCrest Edition, Lot 1A, Block B, item 7.3.
Have a motion to approve. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those in favor, any nays? Motion approved. Okay, action item 7.4. Discuss and consider a construction plat for the North Spur East Major Infrastructure being 238.982 acres. City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas. Property is located on the north intersection of Highway 80 and Spur 557. Sir?
Okay, if you will, let me give you the very big picture. Go ahead, a couple slides over, Katie. If you would, please, one more. Keep going, right there. Many of you heard that this is the North Spur addition that is going, located up around where 557 and 80 join in. There's a pet spa there. And you see the graph there in front of you. This is to kind of give you the magnitude of what we're talking about tonight. We're going to be focusing on the right side of that drawing. The right side, there you go, she's circling it. That is the industrial side, and that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. I want to just give you a kind of perceptive of what that's going on out there in the big picture. If you'll see the blank white line in between, that is land that's been set aside for the thoroughfare plan of the outer loop. That's what that part is being sectioned there. So you can, that's kind of our dividing wall of that. The left side of that is going to be all the residential. There's some small retail at the, light retail at the bottom against Highway 80. And that housing addition is going to be next. This is for tonight. You can go back. The right side is going to be the industrial. One more. So this right side is for the industrial infrastructure. There's the presenting a final plat. This is called the North Spur Addition, and they're presenting it to begin the final plat on it. So it's progressing very well, and they have a pretty accelerated timeline. So we've been working with them quite often.
Where exactly is this again?
Go out Highway 80, go straight out where 557, there's a pet spa and some other facilities there.
Where the old gas station was?
Go past the old truck stop.
Mm-hmm.
And when 80 joins into 557, becomes 80 to go in to Windmill Farms, right at that curve where all of it comes together, 557 and 80. Old motel.
Yes, okay.
There's a pet spa. There's another facility I won't mention. See, you already know it. Okay? I didn't have to say it, but you already know where I'm at location-wise. But yes, it's going to be to the north side of the road.
We're not tearing down the unmentionable.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
So,
Okay.
but this property is, if you were to face those facilities facing north, pseudo north, this property right here is all to the right. So it's going to go from basically the top of the hill all the way down basically to the old truck stop.
Now, all this property is inside city limits today.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions for staff? Okay, do I hear a motion?
I would move that we approve item 7.4.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion approved. Okay, action item 8, we're going to adjourn into our executive session in accordance with section.
Oh, we've already had,
Oh, we've already had this one? Okay. All right.
we had that first. We snuck it in on it.
Okay, so that's, that terminates our meeting
We adjourned.
we adjourn for today. All right. Meeting's adjourned.